Hagen Health Support Workers vote on strike. 2017 budget passed amidst drama over figures. And world stunned by US elections results.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Wednesday's news. Just minutes ago, the world heard that U.S. businessman Donald Trump has been elected president. More on this story later in the bulletin. The Hagen Health Support Workers started voting on whether to go on strike yesterday and continued today. They are supporting the association, the PNG Health Support Workers, to walk off their jobs regarding their log of claims being delayed by the Personnel Management Department. It has been 1 year since they presented their claims to DPM for approval.
Election, long strike or no gut. Me like declaring this like election and me open now the Western Highlands province. Thank you.
The ballot box was conducted by the Electoral Commission's returning officer for Hagen Health Support Workers. Up to 140 registered members working in all the clinics, hospitals and medical stores in the province came together at Hagen General Hospital and casted their votes. They add to the total 3,000 plus membership of the association nationwide. The returning officer is expected to declare the ballot boxes anytime tonight or tomorrow morning. So far, the health support workers in Port Moresby, Lae, Goroka and Milimbe have voted to go on strike. Other provinces are having difficulty voting due to the slow transportation of ballot boxes to their areas. The health support workers felt that they too need to be awarded like the health workers. The PNG Health Support Workers Association was formed in 2014 by non-clinicians or staffs of clinics, hospitals and the health department who are not health practitioners. Most of them are cleaners, ambulance drivers, accountants, secretaries and ancillary staffs. They felt that for 40 years they have not been compensated fairly like any other public servant or medical professional. On September 24, 2015, they submitted 11-point log of claims to the Department of Personnel Management to recognize them and their hard work. Their foremost need is to have an increase in their salary and housing allowance. A final declaration in the association's next course of action will be handed down soon after all the provinces have conducted their voting. Vasenata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
A group of contractors today gathered outside the Morobe Provincial Government building, demanding that the provincial government pay them more than 7 million kina in unpaid claims. They are demanding that the Morobe government meet with them to resolve the issue before the elections begin in 2017.
A group of about 30 contractors hoisted a sign declaring their disappointment over what they say has been a 4-year delay of payments. They gathered in front of the Tutumang to call on the provincial government to pay them before the elections happen. They're arguing that with the election period approaching, they may not get paid as the provincial politicians prepare for the elections in July. Spokesperson Aki Sama is owed 300,000 kina for maintenance work he did for the provincial government.
Since 2013, kami na now and was online law administration, online law political office, office law governor, or staff no go money papa long or the outstanding all to talk long.
For Ronnie Wanjero, the delay in payments has caused him to lose business and assets.
But especially location me work lo bus na me kame. Na Opino High School. We completing project me karen kikam so imol na mi wet igo long April ina plo now me stop. Or work man blo mi ghost pone mas cross on all thing osem example me putilo mi all thing osem mixi money kekele na go strip mo gada pone patrol len kusa blo mi still na man about me keke now car blo mi still on ground. Emi come up in bel heavy na mixing people wari na stop.
In total, there are 360 contractors who claim they're owed money by the provincial government.
The 7 million kina demanded by the contractors is 3 million kina short of a tenth of the total budget allocation given by the national government to Morobe. And even if the Morobe provincial government were to pay, it would still find it difficult with the recent budget cuts. Scott Waide, National MTV News, Ley.
The opposition stormed out of the Parliament chamber yesterday after a heated debate erupted between them and the government over the appropriation bill as cited by the Minister of Treasury, Patrick Puaj. In a media conference later on, the opposition said it would challenge the government in the Supreme Court over what it described as a fraudulent and misleading budget.
The opposition claimed that the appropriation figure as signed by the First Legislative Council read as 21 billion kina and did not correspond with the Treasurer's speech, cited to be 12.9 billion. The opposition, led by Don Pollier, walked out of the chamber in protest after a proposition made by the Vanimo Green MP Belden Nama to adjourn the passing of the budget to 10 a.m. today was declined. In a media conference later, Pollier announced the opposition's intentions to challenge the matter in the Supreme Court.
On behalf of the people of this nation, people of this country, that Bamiblai challenge him. This bill we only pass him today, long government, long floor of parliament, long court, long stop him. Government must knock and implement him this budget. Now government must correct him this budget long next parliament or in earlier parliament session before we go long election.
He also called on the Prime Minister and MPs at the forefront of the budget compilation to resign voluntarily.
Also, this let me fraud and deception belong Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, one time treasurer, one time government belong him.
Nama called on the fraud squad to make immediate arrests for what the opposition described as a blatant error.
On the fraud squad to immediately arrest Diary Valley, the Secretary for Treasury, Secretary for Finance and Secretary for Planning.
Former Attorney General Karangakua condemned the bill void and misleading.
There was no bill. No. The speeches read and the motion put forward was about something else, and what they circulated to be the bill was something else. So to that extent, that bill is not a bill, therefore we had no bill on the floor.
Melissa Gaviro, National MTV News.
Nevertheless, the 2017 appropriation bills were passed yesterday at 7 p.m. in the absence of the opposition, bringing the vote count to 75 for and 0 against. The Treasurer, Patrick Puaj, has condemned members of the opposition who he alleged sought to twist budget figures as distraction techniques. He explained that the figure of 21 billion kina they cited is comprised of the 2017 expenditure envelope of 13 billion kina and standing debt of 8 billion kina that is comprised of treasury bills, inscribed stocks and other debt instruments. Minister for National Planning, Charles Abel, also dismissed further claims by the opposition that he was providing inaccurate statistics to the Prime Minister, resulting in misleading statistics.
The GDP figures that we talk about, that has been also updated recently to 2013 based on our National Statistics Office and verified by the Australian Bureau of Statistics. These are the GDP figures that are presented in the reports and updated by Treasury.
National MTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. After months of an eventful U.S. election race, U.S. businessman Donald Trump has, against a world of expectation, been elected the next president of the United States. Here's what he had to say just minutes ago. Here's more from CNN.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business. Complicated. Thank you very much. I've just received a call from Secretary Clinton. She congratulated us, it's about us, on our victory. And I congratulated her and her family on a very, very hard-fought campaign. I mean, she fought very hard. Hillary has worked very long and very hard over a long period of time, and we owe her a major debt of gratitude for her service to our country. I mean that very sincerely. Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division. Have to get together. To all Republicans and Democrats and independents across this nation, I say it is time for us to come together as one united people. It's time. I pledge to every citizen of our land that I will be president for all Americans, and this is so important to me. For those who have chosen not to support me in the past, of which there were a few people, I'm reaching out to you for your guidance and your help so that we can work together and unify our great country. As I've said from the beginning, ours was not a campaign, but rather an incredible and great movement made up of millions of hardworking men and women who love their country and want a better, brighter future for themselves and for their family. It's a movement comprised of Americans from all races, religions, backgrounds, and beliefs who want and expect our government to serve the people, and serve the people it will. Working together, we will begin the urgent task of rebuilding our nation and renewing the American dream. I've spent my entire life in business looking at the untapped potential in projects and in people all over the world. That is now what I want to do for our country. Tremendous potential. I've gotten to know our country so well. Tremendous potential. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Every single American will have the opportunity to realize his or her fullest potential. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. We are going to fix our inner cities and rebuild our highways, bridges, tunnels, airports, schools, hospitals. We're going to rebuild our infrastructure, which will become, by the way, second to none. And we will put millions of our people to work as we rebuild it. We will also finally take care of our great veterans. We've been so loyal, and I've gotten to know so many over this 18-month journey. The time I've spent with them during this campaign has been among my greatest honors. Our veterans are incredible people. We will embark upon a project of national growth and renewal. I will harness the creative talents of our people, and we will call upon the best and brightest to leverage their tremendous talent for the benefit of all. It's going to happen. We have a great economic plan. We will double our growth and have the strongest economy anywhere in the world. At the same time, we will get along with all other nations willing to get along with us. They will be. We'll have great relationships. We expect to have great relationships. No dream is too big, no challenge is too great. Nothing we want for our future is beyond our reach. America will no longer settle for anything less than the best. We must reclaim our country's destiny and dream big and bold and daring. We have to do that. We're going to dream of things for our country, and beautiful things and successful things once again. I want to tell the world community that while we will always put America's interests first, we will deal fairly with everyone, all people and all other nations. We will seek common ground, not hostility, partnership, not conflict. And now, I'd like to take this moment to thank some of the people who really helped me with this, what they are calling tonight, very, very historic victory. First, I want to thank my parents, who I know are looking down on me right now. Great people.
And the PNG is expected to welcome the new U.S. President Donald Trump in the country for APEC in 2018. And now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at 0.3155 US dollars in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying 0.3080 US dollars, 0.3943 Australian dollars, 0.2768 euro and 32.06 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, cocoa and copra closed higher, while coffee closed the day lower. Palm oil, crude oil and copper closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 73.14 points higher, the ASX is trading at 101.23 points lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 103.89 points lower. You're at National EMTV News. More on the local front after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. The PNG-Indonesia meeting on border security matters began today in Port Moresby. This is part of a series of technical meetings under the annual border liaison meeting between the two countries. Sarah Alpong reports.
This bilateral meeting is one of the only times that the two countries come together to discuss sensitive security issues that occur along our shared 760-kilometer border. Today's meeting was opened by PNGDF Commander Gilbert Toropo, who raised concerns around the smuggling of illegal firearms into the country in light of the 2017 general elections and APEC 2018.
As we speak, there is a legislation before our government to address of illegal firearms in the country. And PNG does not have any gun factories. And our concern is that no concerns of where the borders are. And I believe that this is one of our both countries' concern. Transnational activities that happens along the border has to be addressed.
This was part of today's agenda under combating transnational crime. The arrangement to deal with this issue will involve police from both countries. Also on the agenda were incidents that involved military and civilians from both countries. Earlier this year, MTV was part of a joint government team who assessed incidents along the border in the South Fly district of Western Province. This visit showed the lack of PNGDF resources to effectively patrol the border and protect PNG's interests. Resolutions from this meeting will be presented by the co-chairs to the Ministers of Defense. Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
East New Britain Governor Erman Tobining Jr. says his provincial government will soon release East New Britain's Provincial Tourism Master Plan. Governor Tobining hasn't announced any set date for the release of the plan, but he says it's going to be a big one that will contain all the details of what is expected to attract more foreign tourists to go to East New Britain.
East New Britain province is synonymous with tourism, and until recently the province has announced that it will release its tourism master plan that will contain what is needed to attract more foreign tourists to come here. The Snubberton Governor, Araminto Binding Jr., is confident that it is a plan that will work.
There are potential tourism sites and products in East New Britain. That's why our biggest plan, according to our master plan, we are working on that. And once it's ready, we will launch the master plan.
Meanwhile, the head of the East New Britain Tourism Authority, Gad Ranson, on numerous occasions have called the tourism prospect for the province a faceless concept that needs to be nurtured well, as the province needs to fix its backlog of problems such as issues surrounding its communication network, the rundown health and road services, building new accommodation infrastructure and maintaining existing ones.
In the long run, we need some good funding on that one because there is nothing in place at the moment. At the moment, I can confidently say that we cannot accommodate for 2,000 visitors.
The Tourism Minister, Tobias Kulang, who has travelled to East New Britain on numerous occasions, has made assurance to ask for more money from the government to make the plan work.
What we're trying to do is we ensure that we pay attention to the necessary infrastructure, the necessary administrative structure, and the necessary product development that needs to take place to attract the tourism.
The tourism master plan is expected to contain various tourism aspects of the province that have remained largely untapped over the years, and that includes the mobilization of local people, the owners of the tourism sites, so they become active participants. The whole idea is that tourism is something that the people have to do every day, and it shouldn't be something that just happened when a tourist shows up. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
A public sector training on tendering and procurement is underway for government officers in Morbe Province. The training is a refresher since the last workshop of a similar training in 2011. It is funded by the Central Supplies and Tender Board to assist the public servants procure goods and services in the correct manner.
This 3-day training, which started yesterday, teaches the methods and procedures used when procuring goods and services using public funds. There is one procurement system and is subdivided into two parts, the minor and the major. The principal coordinator and facilitator, Edward Owa, says the major procurement has two methods under the Public Finance Management Act.
One is called the public tender and the other one is called the certificate of inexpediency. Slowly we are phasing out the COI.
Owa said the Central Supplies and Tenders Board is concentrating at public tendering. The workshop will help train the public servants on the procedures involved when planning public procurement stages through to contract administration.
Bid documents or tender documents, how do you design them, how do you cost them, how do you how does the advertisements go about, what time, how long will it be?
Owa says the procurement system is not understood nationwide by public servants from all levels of government department. The major procurement system is currently controlled and regulated by the Central Supplies and Tenders Board.
After this workshop, the officers from the Morbe province would be able to apply the correct procedures for minor procurement and the correct processes and procedures for and methods for the major procurement when contracting, procuring goods and services over 500,000.
Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Ley.
Buai traders in Ley City are making close to 20,000 kina per day in the informal sector trade. But the green gold trade is in jeopardy. Diseases have affected betel nut trees in some parts of the Madang and Morbe province. Bethany Herman with this report.
It's another hectic day at the office for these buai traders. Prices are argued over and cash is spent out in the open. The sun is hot, but money has to be made from buai bags from as far as the East Sepik province. Bumbu Market is a trade center and the negotiating is very intense. The money being made is astonishing. On average, people make over 10,000 kina per day. But the trade is in danger. Diseases have killed trees in Medang and parts of the Morobe province.
Maximum 20 plus back, so measuring first price and 350 and second and 340.
If the disease-causing bug is not managed well by authorities, it could put an end to the lucrative trade. At the Bumbu Market, the trade is intense. Those taking part in the business know what's at stake. Coastal people have been dependent on buai for income for many years. They know that if the trees were to stop producing, they will suffer. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News, Lei.
A remote village in the Central Province has received a new elementary classroom. The classroom is Rabuka Elementary School's first modern building since the school started in 1997, 19 years ago. Governor for Central, Kila Hauda, and Karukuhiri MP Peter Isuaimo officiated at the opening today.
Governor Hauda and his wife were accompanied to Rabuka village by Deputy Governor Desmond Baira and other members of the Central Provincial Government. Rabuka is one of the smaller remote villages along the Magi Highway that comes under the Kairuku-Hiri district. Hiri LLG President Hauda Rogea, who assisted to fund the school, said small and remote communities rarely see developments like this.
Under the leadership of Governor Hauda and the Central Provincial Government, we are breaking down some barriers. We are reaching out to communities that were never reached before.
Teacher in charge Maurice Yori said the school was one of the many first elementary schools to be opened in Central Province in 1997 under the new education policy. Classrooms were built with makeshift materials that have been destroyed by weather and termites, making it an expensive exercise.
I would like to thank Walter Andrew, Arauka Bore, Manu Kotoni, and others who walked and talked without shame to get things going for me and the school.
Governor Hauda encouraged the 30-plus elementary children to study hard for a better future.
It's very important that you children are lucky people because you have a very beautiful classroom, the best elementary classroom I've seen in Central Province.
Kairukuhiri MP Peter Isuaimo reiterated the need for his district to be split in two so that mothers, fathers and children can have access to basic services. Although Rabuka is located less than 30 minutes from the nation's capital, it is accessed through a dirt road and its only modern-built classroom was opened today.
The Prime Minister was that he's tasked the electoral commissioner to do the consultative reporting and bring it on to Parliament so we can take a vote on it. But now that we're told there's no money to do that, it looks like we're going to have to wait into the next election.
Governor Hauda then presented a dummy check of 50,000 kina to the Rabuka United Reformed Church, honoring a prior commitment. He also presented sewing machines to the Women's Fellowship, encouraging women's empowerment. In the meantime, Mr. Isuaimo committed 20,000 kina to the school for future expansion plans. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
Chukai Sports is next. More teams arrive for the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Details after the break.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. SPPNG Hunters Centre Thompson Tete has been signed by the Radcliffe Dolphins. He did not complete last season after suffering a season-ending injury against the Townsville Blackhawks.
Now back to full fitness, Tete will join coach Adam Mogg's squad for pre-season training from mid-November. Dolphins football general manager Grant Cleal says Thompson is an international quality centre who will add strike, speed and power to the backline. Many PNG experts live in suburban Brisbane and turn up to watch the Hunters play when they're there. Their supporters can now see one of their own play for the Dolphins every week rather than once or twice a season. The 27-year-old will be based in Redcliffe and settle into employment with the support of the Dolphins. The Dolphins management will ensure Thompson has the help he needs both on and off the field to make a smooth transition to the club. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
In cricket, after levelling the series on Sunday, the Hebo PNG Barramundis were defeated yesterday by Hong Kong with 7 runs. Batting first, the Barra secured a healthy 244 runs by the end of the first inning. The Hong Kong side then responded in the second inning with a couple of massive sixes that saw them at 3 over 181 by tea time. They then went on to conclude the series with 2 points to PNG's 1. More sports after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. More teams arrived in the nation's capital as the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup opening match is less than 4 days away. Previous tournament host Canada arrived with France, Japan and tournament regulars Mexico and Nigeria today at Jackson's International Airport.
A spirited Nigerian side flew into the country from Singapore early this morning. After disembarking the plane, the team gathered outside the terminal with a word of prayer before boarding the team's shuttle bus. Nigeria, along with Brazil, Germany and USA, has made it to every edition of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. And Papua New Guinea 2016 will be the Falconets' 8th appearance. From the North American continent, Canada and Mexico make their entry into PNG with much delight as both teams stamp their 7th appearance in this 8th edition of the competition. Meanwhile, France has regulars of the competition over the years, performing at 5 of the tournaments to date. Their greatest achievement was in Canada 2014, when they claimed their 3rd place by defeating Korea DPR. This tournament marks their 6th appearance on the world stage. Japan, on the other hand, has quite the history at the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup, with 5th appearance reaching the quarterfinals 3 times, yet failing to qualify for a further 3 occasions. While they seem to have a lot of fans in PNG, the young Nadeshiko are no strangers in Port Moresby, having played against PNG in the friendlies leading up to the tournament. North American heavyweights Team USA are expected to arrive tomorrow, along with Oceania's leading contender New Zealand and Ghana to conclude the arrival of all 16 participating teams for the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup Papua New Guinea 2016. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
With only 17 months to the 2018 Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, Australia, PNG will participate in 15 different sporting codes. Some of these codes will include swimming, weightlifting and athletics.
2018 will be another busy year for Papua New Guinea as PNG Sports Foundation and PNG High Performance Sport, including other sporting federations, are already preparing for the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games. Papua New Guinea's chance of having beach volleyball in the Commonwealth Games will come from the Oceania Championships in Suva, Fiji from the 24th to the 26th of November, as it will determine the country's qualification into the Commonwealth Games. With the recent visit to the home of the Commonwealth Games by Papua New Guinea coaches and athletes last month, the team now has a better understanding on how they can prepare their athletes. This will include training preparations, organizations of the teams at community level to provincial level and national level. National championships will also be hosted in various parts of the country in order to make final selections for both team and individual codes. Meanwhile, PNG coaches and athletes, after an MOU was signed between PNG Sports Minister Justin Tchenko and Gold Coast City Mayor, PNG will have a close relationship with the City of Gold Coast to help PNG athletes prepare for the Games. With this in mind, Minister for Sports have encouraged all sporting federations to bid for international sporting events to be staged in PNG. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
And that's a wrap for Trukai Sport. Stay tuned for weather details next.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Looking at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow, in the southern region, fine, although cloudy at times in Port Moresby, mostly fine in Daru and Kerema, and fine weather in Alotau and Popondetta. In the Momase region, an expected shower or two in all centers. In the New Guinea Islands region, fine weather in Lorengau, mostly fine in Kavieng and Buka, and thundery showers in Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe. And in the Highlands region, a shower or two in Mount Hagen, Mendi and Wabeg, and light showers in Goroka and Kundiawa. Forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours. All coastal waters of Papua New Guinea, seas of 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Ocean forecast for PNG areas. In the Coral Sea, sea slight with northeast to southeast winds at 10 to 15 knots. In the Solomon Sea, sea slight with clockwise winds at 10 to 15 knots. In the Bismarck Sea, sea slight with northeast to northwest winds at 10 to 15 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, sea slight with northeast to northwest winds at 10 to 15 knots.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Now recapping our main stories for tonight. Mount Hagen Health Support Workers take vote on strike call. 2017 budget passed amidst drama over figures. And Donald Trump is elected President of the United States of America. And that has been the news for tonight, Wednesday the 9th of November 2016. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team, thank you for your company. Good night.